The soft buzz against my thigh startled me from sleep. I blinked in the darkness. Reaching for the alarm clock on the nightstand, 3:17 a.m. Molly lay beside me, her breathing even, peaceful, her back turned slightly toward me. We'd been married 10 years. I knew her rhythms, her sighs, the cadence of her dreams. But something was off. That vibration hadn't come from my phone. I reached beneath the blankets, thinking it might have fallen between the sheets. My fingers brushed against a device, but it wasn't mine. It was hers. She must have shifted in her sleep, triggering the vibration. The faint glow of her screen lit up the space between us, illuminating a few stark words on the lock screen. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, baby. Missing you so much, Zoko." A numb chill coursed through my veins. Not her sister, not her mother, not a friend I recognized. The words held a kind of intimacy that wasn't for me. The softness of baby, the aching familiarity of missing you. I stared at the message, frozen. I could have woken her right then, demanded answers, yelled. But something deeper, colder, pressed down on me, steadying my hand and silencing my tongue. I didn't want rage, I wanted truth, proof, clarity. My thumb hovered over the screen, then typed a calm response. "Tomorrow, what time should I expect you?" I placed the phone quietly back on the nightstand, inching away like nothing had happened. My pulse was erratic, yet outwardly I was still as stone. I lay back in bed, eyes half-lidded, watching. Seconds later, the phone buzzed again. She shifted. A slow, startled movement. Her hand reached out, fumbling for the phone. The light lit her face as she read the reply. Her breath hitched. I saw her body tense. The phone slipped from her trembling hand and hit the floor with a hollow thud. "She?" Jolted upright. "Peepaul, she stammered, eyes wide, her voice barely audible. I rubbed at my eyes groggily, feigning confusion. "What's going on?" "And nothing. Just a bad dream." She muttered too quickly. Her hands were shaking. She bent to grab her phone, clutching it like a lifeline, and fled to the bathroom. The door clicked shut and locked. That was all I needed. Months of strange behavior, late office nights, hushed calls in the hallway, random conferences, and vague answers coalesced into a singular, searing realization. She was having an affair. Everything I'd feared, every quiet suspicion I had buried under trust, now screamed at me from that single text. I stared up at the ceiling in the now silent room, the weight of her betrayal crushing down like a vice. The life we'd built, the laughter we'd shared, the future we'd dreamed, it all cracked under the strain of one name on her screen. Minutes later, the bathroom door opened. Molly stepped out, her face pale, her eyes bloodshot. She clutched the phone like it might dissolve in her hand. But she couldn't meet my eyes. "We need to talk," she whispered, her voice broken. "I think we do," I replied evenly, a blade of steel beneath my calm. "Who is he?" The blood drained from her face. She opened her mouth, but for a moment, no words emerged. Silence filled the room like fog. Finally, her voice barely audible, she said, "David. He's someone from work." Of course. David, the new project manager. The one always a little too close at corporate dinners. Always a little too charming, too involved in her jokes and smiles. I'd noticed. I just hadn't wanted to believe it. She sat on the edge of the bed and started talking slowly, haltingly. The whole truth unraveled with every word she said. Business trips that weren't, meetings that became dinners, weekends away where she had never left the city, lies, layered over lies, delivered with tears she could no longer control. I didn't yell, I didn't cry. My silence unnerved her more than rage ever could. When she finally stopped speaking, I looked at her with the last bit of emotion I would ever allow myself to feel for her. "Pack your things," I said coldly. "Leave." She did. By morning, she was gone, her closet emptied, her presence scrubbed from the house like a memory trying to be forgotten. The silence left behind was suffocating, but it was honest, and in that honesty, I found resolve. I wasn't going to let them walk away with everything. I wasn't going to be the only one broken. My revenge began quietly. I filed an anonymous complaint with our company's HR department. David and Molly worked in different departments, a clear violation of company policy on workplace relationships. But that was just the start. David was married to His wife, Emily, was a stay-at-home mother. She posted perfect little family moments online, baking cookies with the kids, painting tiny handprints, smiling selfies with a man I now saw for what he really was. It didn't take much to find her contact information. One anonymous email, screenshots, timestamps, messages between him and Molly. The kind of truth no one could ignore. Within days, everything began to collapse. David was fired. The company took swift action, citing inappropriate conduct and policy violations. Emily left him soon after. Word spread quickly. Their picture-perfect life shattered overnight. Still, I wasn't done. One night, I found him at a bar, alone. A shell of the arrogant man I remembered. His shoulders slumped, his glass half full of something cheap. I walked up slowly, my presence deliberate. "David," I said. Voice low. He turned. Recognition flickered. Panic followed. "Paul, I enjoying your drink?" I asked. He didn't reply. I stepped closer, lowering my voice so only he could hear. "I trusted you. You stole from me. Not just my wife, my peace, my dignity, my time. I didn't mean you meant every lie, every touch, every moment behind my back. But here you are, alone, jobless, and if there's any justice." Left, ashamed. He didn't speak again, just stared, hollow-eyed. I left him there, swallowed by his own guilt. In the months that followed, I poured everything into rebuilding. Therapy became a lifeline. Work kept my mind occupied. Old friends reappeared, reminding me who I was before the storm. Slowly, I began to feel like myself again. Then one day, she messaged me. "Molly." She apologized again, told me she had lost everything, her job, her home, her marriage. She said she was trying to rebuild, to find something solid in the wreckage. She said she missed me. I didn't answer. I read her words, felt them skim the surface of old wounds, and realized something. I felt nothing. No desire, no hope, not even anger. I deleted the message. That was the last time I let her enter my thoughts. The scars she left remain, but they no longer define me. They are proof that I endured, that I rose, that I refused to be reduced by betrayal. And now, with the past behind me, I walk forward wiser, stronger, and absolutely unbreakable.